Earlier this year, around the middle of 2025, I burnt out entirely with the lead generation business, which I had been building for the last 2.5 years. And I want to use this video to talk about why, because a lot of people often sort of look at the whole burnout stuff as simply you were working way too much, you need to rest a bit more. But I don't believe that this was entirely the case for my situation. And if you're someone which has been considering a business or working on something, but you just haven't started or you're not sure, I think this might be really useful for you. So I believe that when originally I got into my first sort of business and stuff through a course I saw online. I learned copywriting. I was able to land a couple of clients and then ended up transitioning more to LinkedIn and had my own sort of LinkedIn lead generation business where typically speaking it was effectively appointment setting, right? Like where I'd sort of be sending messages, follow-ups. Sometimes I'd do content for people, but generally it was around that. And that was okay. However, I just didn't really like the process at all. It was boring, it was repetitive. The only thing that I actually enjoyed was actually making automations and having to think about what creative ways I could simplify and quicken some of the things that I was doing. Other than that, that was about it, right? Nothing else really enjoyable there. Now, it got a lot worse because as I started taking on more clients, a lot of the time I was actually taking on a lot of clients on just a purely pay for performance basis, which for which at the moment, or at least which back then, I wasn't really getting much good results either. Now, what I really want to emphasize here is that I probably had about 6 or 7 clients I was doing this for, and I was spending 2.5 to 3 hours Monday to Friday morning just going through everyone's accounts and sending messages and such. The reason I got burnt out wasn't necessarily or entirely because of the amount I was doing. I believe I was burnt out because I was completely misaligned with what I was interested in. And I believe that because everything was so repetitive. It was the same stuff every single day. Now, again, right? Could I have tried to make it more interesting? Could I have tried to be a bit more, I don't know, passionate about it? Maybe. But I just found that it really wasn't for me. And I then took that time, sort of mid this year, to create a Ikigai, where I had to basically jot down, well, what are the things I like? What are the things I'm good at? What can I get paid for? And what does the world need? And that was quite a useful exercise, just be able to literally get a piece of paper out and just sort of write down, right, well, what does that look like? And in the end, I figured out, right, well, I enjoy more creative things. Like, I enjoy doing creative things. I think a lot of people would also enjoy from doing those more creative things that get you to think and actually, I guess, just using your brain a bit more and not just doing the same thing every day like so many other people do nowadays. And I ended up landing with a few things, but generally speaking, it was right. I want to do more creative things. I want to be able to, speak to, other sort of guys, around my age and be able to share my opinions and beliefs on what I believe might be able to perhaps help other guys. And it was also around, well, what if I could make video games with AI? And, that's something which I've been doing as well. But the point being is like now I'm in a position where I am far more aligned with what I'm doing, and I'm so grateful that I've actually made that transition. And I got rid of pretty much just about all my clients at that sort of period of time as well, and refunded some, which was a little bit messy. But in the end, like now, I'm a lot happier where I'm at. And I think just such an important lesson that I've learned is that, and for reference, right, I have no regrets from doing the 2.5 years on that business. No regrets at all. It taught me a lot. It made me realize a lot of things. I think it built me a bit more of a character. But I think just one of the things I realized is that, look, it is like for me at least, it feels so much more worth it to be working on something that's meaningful to me, even if it takes me an extra year or two to get it off the ground and running. I would much rather be working on something that was meaningful to me and make less money, for example, than work on something that I don't really like or have no interest in and make far more money. And I'm also going to say that I don't believe that that I was starting over at all. And I know one of the sort of quotes from Alex Hormozy, which I quite like, with the idea that you're always starting from experience. You're never truly starting over. And like I know I spoke to a few people who saw my situation and thought, oh, you're basically starting over again. And it's like to some level, yeah, but also no, right? Because a lot that I've learned. And now, like, although I'm definitely not exactly where I want to be at the moment, I'm working on the things that are meaningful to me. And I know that I want to keep pursuing because it's more creative, it more so aligns with me. And I'm more so willing to spend far more time and energy and focus doing this stuff because I'm more aligned with it. But that's just really something I just wanted to share as well because, again, like I think being able to pursue a project that's meaningful to you is one of the best ways you can improve as a guy, and just actively doing things. I think that's the stuff that's going to allow you to improve, make mistakes, understand yourself a bit more. And honestly, like, again, if I had never tried that LinkedIn lead generation business, never tried that copywriting stuff, honestly, like I don't even know if I would have ended up here. But I had to do that stuff, in my opinion. I had to do that stuff to figure out, right, well, I thought I wanted that, but I don't. And actually, what I do prefer is this. Because I feel like a lot of guys just don't really know what they want. And honestly, I think you just need to try and, figure out what you think is interesting to you, perhaps put together an Ikigai, and then just start doing stuff. Don't overplan things, just start doing it, and then you'll figure out as you go. Well, let me know if this resonates with you, and I'll chat soon.